Hello. 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 Can you all hear me? Hello. 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 Can you all hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you all hear me? Hello. All right. So by 9 p.m. we get to start. Yeah. All right. So by 9 p.m. we get to start. Yeah. All right. So by 9 p.m. we get to start. Yeah. If you can still hear me, please drop yes on the chat box. If you can still hear me, please drop yes on the chat box. If you can still hear me, please drop yes on the chat box. If you can still hear me, please drop yes on the chat box. If you can still hear me, please drop yes on the chat box. If you can still hear me. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Yeah, so 5 minutes or 2 minutes to go before we get started. Hello, everyone. Yeah, it's almost time for us to get started.
Okay, great. So, if you can still hear me, please drop yours in the chat box so we can begin. This is 9 p.m. dot, and we're about to start the event. So great. So, now let's go to our slides. If you can see the screen, please do all to drop a comment. If you can see the screen, drop a comment. Yes, 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 I can see the screen. So we begin immediately. All right. So, before we come into this, yeah, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Ndoka Anthony Analechukwu, and I'm an FCS campus ambassador and also Nigeria representative at United Africa Blockchain Association. So on this course today, we'll be talking about blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies. So for many of you who are new to blockchain and you're new to crypto, this course is for you. It's actually free of charge. You're going to view it on this YouTube channel and you're going to learn a lot. So I mandate that everybody here who's joining this live stream, please do well to have your pen and paper to jot things down. Um, so that you can keep record of things and learn and the process of uh, this session. So while we proceed, I'm going to be introducing to you to blockchain and cryptocurrencies, what they are, how they work, and what you could possibly use it for, especially for newbies who are just joining us in the space. So yeah, so let's go to the next. So, what is blockchain technology? Blockchain technology is a computerized, decentralized, distributed ledger linked together using cryptography. This is just a broad definition, and it's actually a short definition, but somehow the words are somehow difficult to understand. But I'm going to break these things down by putting it all together by using graphics to explain better so that you get to understand what I mean by this. So let's look at the three words or three words that are related here. The first one is computerized. The second one is decentralized. The third one is distributed ledger, and the fourth one is cryptography. Now, these terms are very important for you to understand blockchain. Now, the first one means computerized, which means it has to do with computers, tech, computer. So it all relates. So it has to do with computers. Then secondly, the decentralized means that there is no central entity in control of the technology itself. There's no central entity in control of the system. Rather, it is decentralized and the power is being given out to the users or the community behind it. Then distributed ledger refers to the fact that the ledger means a book of financial records on a blockchain. So the ledger, which is distributed, it means that the financial records on that blockchain is distributed among the community of users. They can easily see and have access to this ledger and know what they will do with it. So the next one is cryptography, and cryptography refers to encryption. So I'm just breaking these words down a little bit so you get to understand what they mean. So on our next slide, yeah, so let's go to the next slide. Sorry, make sure here. All right, I told you guys to ensure that you get these words: digital, ledger, decentralized, distributed, and cryptography, and I've somehow explained them. Blockchain technology is digital. It's digital because it's built with computers. It's been coded. It's code. It came out of codes. Now, ledger refers to the fact that there is a book of financial transactions. Now, this book of financial transactions, instead of having them in a real life physical format, you now have them on the blockchain in digital format. So decentralized means that there's no central entity being in charge of it. Then distributed means that these ledger, the digital ledger, are being spread across the community of users, the people who are using the blockchain itself. or computer nodes, as it's been mentioned. Then cryptography refers to the fact that there is an encryption built with mathematics that secures the blockchain and makes it immutable. So these keywords are things you should note whenever you're trying to understand how blockchain works. Now I'm going to go further in details by going into the next slide to give you what this blockchain technology is all about. Now, blockchain is a system of recording information in a way that makes it easy, makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. A blockchain is essentially a digital ledger of transactions that is duplicated and distributed across the entire network of computer systems on the blockchain. Now, you have to calm down to take this. Now, blockchain is a system of recording information in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change. Now, is now, this leads to the words I mentioned previously. You have system of recording on this. Now, this system of recording is the ledger, and you have in a way that makes it difficult or impossible to change, hack, or cheat the system. Now, this impossibility to change, hack, or cheat the system refers to the cryptography which it is built with. Now, a blockchain is essentially a digital ledger of transactions that is duplicated. Now, these are the digital ledgers that are spread across the network of users, and as you say, there is duplicated and spread across or distributed across the entire network of computer systems on the blockchain. The computer systems of the users can also be referred to as they can also be referred to as computer nodes. So that's just basically what a blockchain refers to. Now, blockchain uses peer-to-peer distributed network, which will ensure the decentralized nature of the technology. Now, every device that connects to the network is considered a node, and node runs on the blockchain. Now, as I mentioned earlier, blockchain is actually a community of connected persons. There are thousands of persons out there connected on this particular network, sharing information and connected together. So each person is most like a P2P. Everybody is connected together. I'm going to show you us a picture or a sample of what I mean by that, which I mean by peer-to-peer distributed network. So we get to understand what I mean by this, and also get to understand the meaning of the decentralized feature of blockchain technology and why it is relevant in this course. So every device that connects to the network is considered a node, and node runs the blockchain. Every device that's connected to the network is considered a node. That's a computer node, and the nodes run the blockchain. The nodes are there to validate transactions, observe, and see what's happening on the blockchain. And it's not just one person, it's thousands and thousands of computers out there which are run by humans like us. So let's move into the next slide. Now, this is a picture of what the blockchain looks like. As I mentioned earlier, we had this. So if you observe in this picture, you see this is a picture of what a blockchain looks like. And in these images, you see things like computer, mobile devices, systems, PC, and the rest. Now, all these things are what we call computer nodes. All these things are what we call computer nodes, raising the fact that that's what we are currently making use of. Now, once your device is connected to the blockchain, it becomes a computer node and it keeps tracks of transactions and then validates them. So there are several types of blockchain. We may not go into that, or I should say several types of protocols of blockchain technology. We may not go into that, but I just want you to understand that these are just basically what the blockchain looks like. If you see that there is no central entity being in charge of this blockchain. There is no particular entity that is covering or being in charge of the blockchain. So all the decisions around this entire network are being made by these little devices there, and they are being made together in consensus, in agreement, all together. So that's just what the blockchain looks like. So now that's like why we need blockchain. Now, why do we need blockchain? You know, anytime you hear or you get to know about any introduction of a certain technology or one or two things like that, you know, you get to discover that there are better features why this is better than this. Just that's just how it is. I usually make use of typewriter and a computer system or a laptop. Typewriter is very stressful to make use of, but now we have an introduction of a computer system that you can equally easily copy and paste and do any computational work you want to do. You see, computers makes it easier for you to type and compute things compared to when you're making use of a typewriter, which would need you to avoid mistakes, restart, and do so many other things. And also, it also hurts whenever you're using your fingers to use the typewriter itself. It's very difficult. So, blockchain is much like a new kind of technology that makes every other part of sector in the technology tech aspect um, easier. It makes things easier. Let's look at the terms of security, cryptography. Let's look at the terms of decentralization, speed, transparency, and the rest. Now, in terms of security, now blockchain is secured using cryptography. Now, cryptography is a kind of mathematical concept that is built to encrypt and make it very, very difficult for computers to just easily solve, or anybody to just easily solve. Now, it's very, very difficult to solve based on the way the blockchain is built. Now, one man, one single entity cannot easily go into the computer space, go into the blockchain and pull down anything, or, destroy, because they feel like they can equally do that. No, it's not done that way. So because of the security mode that this blockchain is being secured with, because of the cryptography, it makes it so entirely secured in the sense that it cannot easily be hacked or pulled down. So the next is decentralization. Now, decentralization refers to the fact that it is not controlled by any entity. If you look at this image I have here, you would see that there's no particular entity that is governing or controlling all the computers you see here. Now, this image looks like you going into a cyber cafe. If you get into a cyber cafe, there is this particular computer there's this particular computer which is the main server or the controller of every other computers that are in that office. Now, in that main server, if you do anything that will hinder that main server from working, every other computer in that system or in that cyber cafe will not also work, because the main server passes information to every other server on the network of that computers. So, but on this chain here, on the blockchain here, all these computers are somehow independent and decentralized, to the fact that if one single computer gets spoiled or anything happens to this a single Android mobile device or computer device on this blockchain, every other computers will continue to function, not minding the downfall of one of computers on the network. So that is how this blockchain is built, which makes it strong and always online 24/7. So we also have this feature called speed. Blockchain transactions these days makes it easier and faster for you to run transactions. I'm going to explain that later when we get into the cryptocurrency aspect. So transparency. Now, transparency refers to the fact that everybody can gain access to the blockchain as long as it's open source. People can get, there are actually different types of blockchain. They have a semi-public blockchain, semi-public private blockchain. They have a private blockchain and they also have a public blockchain. So it depends on the type of blockchain, but transparency in all aspects. The blockchain gives you transparency, especially people connected to the network, because you'll be able to see transactions, the booking records, and everything done accordingly, and it's open. Nobody can emute, nobody can edit, nobody can take over it and do some editings of any time. um that's it. So the next is it's detailed. It has a detailed record keeping. That's ledger. Now, if you do a transaction, let's say you send Bitcoin to somebody else and you are trying to verify the transaction, it makes it easier. You can easily go online to a blockchain explorer, paste your wallet address, and you'll be able to see the full detail of that certain transaction, the timestamp, the gas fee, the amount you sent, the amount you received, the fee charged, and every other details you need to have on that transaction. And it's open. Everybody can view it as long as they have access to your wallet address or things like that. So next we have immutability. It cannot be edited because it's secured using cryptography, and it's also managed by thousands of persons and also decentralized at the same time. It's also a trustless system. Now, these days, we have a system out there where we have to go and give our documents. Let's say we have a bank and we want to go and keep our money in there. Now, if a bank is usually central, in the sense that any money you keep there is controlled by the bank itself. So, but the blockchain is built with code, and the code is trustless. You don't need to trust the code in order to give them money. But the bank, you need to trust them. Okay, I'm trusting you that I'm giving you this money to keep for me, and blah 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 the rest. But on the blockchain, you don't need to trust it because they are built to the code, and the code is they are built to the code, and the code obeys what it's built for. So the next is that the blockchain gives you the opportunity to own assets in a decentralized digital format. All you need for this is just a public key and a private key. I will explain details in this public key and private key and why it is very relevant. Now, we would go into the concept of money, and we'll let you understand what money is all about, and let you also know what cryptocurrencies too are all about. So money is any generally accepted material that serves as a medium of exchange, a unit of account, store of value, and sometimes as a standard of deferred payment. Now, when I say money is, there are a few words you also need to pick here. The first is that it's generally accepted. Now, the second is that serves as medium of exchange. The third is a unit of account, store of value, and sometimes stand as deferred payment. Now, money, anything that is generally accepted by the community can serve as money. If we decide to start using stones, when I say stones, I mean gravel or rock. If we decide to start using rocks as money, then everybody will start using rocks as money. Then people will value rocks. So if we decide to start using grasses, if we decide to start using sand, anything at all, people, as long as people accept it as okay in exchange for any other thing, definitely it becomes money. So money is anything that is generally accepted by the whole community. We decided to start using gold, and gold was serving as money. We decided to start using cowries. Cowries was also serving as money. We decided to start using paper money. Now paper money is now serving as money because it is generally accepted. So anything that is generally accepted can serve as money. And secondly, anything that can serve as a medium of exchange. When something is generally accepted and can be exchanged for another something, then it can be represented as money. Then anything that you can use as a unit of account, okay, I have this amount of money, I have this amount of stones, I have this amount of diamonds, I have this amount of gold, then it can also serve as money. Anything that you have that can serve as store of value. Let's say I have this amount of stones and I believe in future I'm going to use it to buy a house for myself. It is also referred to as money. Now, sometimes a deferred payment, something you can use to pay for debt or any kind of other payment. So that's just what refers to as money. So what kinds of money do we have? So we have commodity money, we have fiat money, we have metal money, we have electronic money, we have cryptocurrencies. Now I'm going to start explaining by the commodity money aspect. Now, commodity money refers to money of the any physical assets or any commodity at all. Anything you're making use of that physical property can serve as money. Commodity money was mainly used back in those days when we were doing trade by barter and the rest. You have a cow, I have a goat, we exchange, you give me your cow, I give you my goats, then we have traded. And what we use in exchange have served as money. So you can have commodity money as a car, you can have anything as commodity money as long as it's a material, as long as you are able to make use of it as an exchange for something else that has value too, then it serves as money. The next kind of money we have is the fiat money. Now, the fiat money is the paper money we usually know. The word fiat is just making it look cool, but the paper money we use is just what fiat money means. So we also have the metal money. Metal money refers to coins, real life coins. I'm talking about gold, silver, bronze, and the rest. These are metal money. Now we also have electronic money. Now electronic money are the ones you use your mobile app to run transactions in bank. Let's say you want to do a transfer from a certain bank to another bank using the bank apps. You are transferring electronic money because they are not in your hands, they are not physical, they are electronic. Now, the third kind of money is cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm going to go in detail to talk about cryptocurrencies and how they work because that's what we are talking about today in this course. Now, first of all, let's look at the evolution of money and how we got to where we are currently. Now, first, we have trade by barter. As I told you guys, you can equally make trades and exchange um, anything of value using commodities like during trade by barter. Now, the issue that trade by barter has those days was due to the fact that we were unable to equate things of value. Let's assume that you have a cow, as we are seeing on on the picture on the screen, and I have a tiny dog. Okay, let me just use something else. Let's say I have a cup of beans and you have a cow. Now I now said I need a little part of meat, and you have a cow and you need a cup of beans. You know, we can't equally equate a cup of beans to a cow because a cup of beans is very little of value to compare to that of a cow. And you can't say, okay, this is a live cow. Let me just cut a little part of a live cow and exchange for a cup of beans. Because if you do that, the cow may die on the process. So that is an issue that this trade by barter actually um experienced. That is why they had to look for other forms of exchange, and they discovered gold, which is a precious metal. Now, gold was also used as a form or medium of exchange. If you observe, gold was the next in line. Then from gold, we got into metal coins. Now, metal coins can be in any form, including in gold. But the difference you see here is the change in formation. Now, metal coins were now broken down to a particular level that can also be made easier in terms of units of accounting, storage of value, and portability. You know, the next we have in line was paper money. Now, paper money serves a better feature compared to when we have metal coins. When you have huge amount of metal coins, you definitely might find it difficult in moving them around. Let's assume you have $1 billion and you are trying to move $1 billion worth of coin around, man. You would definitely need to buy like a huge truck to carry your metal coins around. But metal paper money, it's definitely huge anyway, depends on the particular currency, but it reduces the waste and the cost of movement, that's portability. Then next in line, we have plastic cards. Now, plastic card makes it much more easier for you to transact without having to stress yourself um, in terms of portability, in terms of fast and easy transaction, in terms uh, um, of online transactions and many other things. These plastic cards, most times you go to ATM, you slot in your card, you withdraw, you make transfers, all these things work perfectly using your plastic cards. Now, the next in line is the electronic money, the money you make transactions using your mobile devices. You can send money online from your computer system to somebody else's computer systems or any app through the bank using your mobile phone or the internet, and it goes fast and makes things easier. But looking at all these systems of formats of money, we now have what we know as cryptocurrency. Now, what is cryptocurrency and what gives it value, or what makes it more important, or what gives it the relevance that makes it better than every other form of money that we have experienced? That is what we are also going to be discussing on this call. And while we move on, stay tuned with me. So, a cryptocurrency is a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange wherein individual coin ownership records are stored on a blockchain. Example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, FTX token, Ripple, Tether, and etc. So a cryptocurrency is a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange, wherein individual coin ownership records are stored on a blockchain. Now, this is where the blockchain comes in. Now, a cryptocurrency is a digital asset that is stored on a blockchain. The records are stored on a blockchain. You get to understand this. So, an example of a cryptocurrency is Bitcoin, Ethereum, FTX token, that's FTT, we have Ripple, we have Tether, and etc. Now, any form of cryptocurrency or any form of digital assets that serve as a medium of exchange stored on a blockchain a blockchain which is secured, a blockchain which is transparent, a blockchain which is immutable, a blockchain which has all these awesome features, a blockchain which is decentralized. Now, that's what we know as cryptocurrency. So now let's look at cryptocurrency in this format using the first term I mentioned here, digital assets. Now, anything that refers to a digital asset, which means that you cannot touch it, it's usually virtual. You can't touch it, um you can't feel it, it's online basically. So but you can use it to run transactions and do every other thing you want to do. That is what we know as cryptocurrency. So now cryptocurrencies are built on the blockchain using some lines of code, depending on the particular language it's built on. So but just know that it's built on the blockchain. And we have several types of cryptocurrencies. I believe you must have heard of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and various others like USDT, which is Tether, and etc. So, what is Bitcoin? Now, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency in which a record of transactions is maintained and new units of currency are generated by computational solution of mathematical problems, proof of work, that's the POW you have here, and which operates independently of a central bank. I know this is just going to stress you by the words, languages, and everything, but I just want you to understand that Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. Now let's revert a little back to the cryptocurrency we have. Looking at the word cryptocurrency, first thing you should see is crypto. The second thing you see is currency. Now, crypto refers to the fact that it's built on a blockchain and it is secured using cryptography. Then currency refers to the fact that it is money. You can also use it to make transactions. So, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency that is a secured, a cryptographically secured money which has a record of transaction maintained by the blockchain has a record of transaction maintained by the blockchain. So we will definitely look at that, but let's move forward to various other things we need to talk about blockchain. So Bitcoin, so that you get to understand what Bitcoin is all about. I don't want to stress you with the mathematical problems of POW because that's much more technical. Now, this is what Bitcoin looks like. This is actually the logo of Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is a virtual asset. Don't mind the fact that it's looking like a physical something. This was created to show us what the logo looks like. But just know that Bitcoin is virtual. Now, here are some features of Bitcoin and what makes it unique. Now, Bitcoin is distributed across the network, especially on the blockchain. So you have the details of Bitcoin distributed across the network. So let's say we have a transaction, and as we do this transaction, it's recorded on the blockchain. Everybody or anybody can easily go online and check out these transactions to find out whether it was actually completed. In normal times, when you use your bank app to make transactions and you send money to somebody to somewhere, and the person claims that he or she has not received it, you might find it difficult to verify if that's true, even if you go to the bank, and they might not be able to find the details of the recording. But on a blockchain, on a distributed interface, or on a distributed ledger, here you have an opportunity to assess the transactions that you did or you made previously, and you would also see the details of those transactions. I'm going to do a quick overview sometime while we move with this. Uh, yeah, I'm going to do a quick overview while we move on with this, but that will be after once I'm done. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like to make a transaction on blockchain and what you need to see concerning the transparency and the distributed aspect of it. So transparent. Now, transparent blockchain is Bitcoin is actually transparent because all transactions that have been used on Bitcoin is transparent. You can view them on the block explorer to see what has happened and what has taken place. So censorship resistance. Now, censorship resistance refers to the fact that there is no central entity controlling Bitcoin. Bitcoin is being run by the community. As I told us on the blockchain, Bitcoin is run, or the blockchain or cryptocurrencies is run by the community and not by anybody or any single entity at all. So you have anonymosity, that's anonymous. Now, the transactions are anonymous because you will not find anybody's name or anybody's personal details on the blockchain. You would basically be seeing things like nonce. You would see things like wallet address and transaction hash, and etc. You will not see anything like Emeka sent money to Chukwuebuka or so they no. So the anonymity also makes it unique, um, a unique feature. So we also have scarcity. Now, Bitcoin is scarce. Now, if you compare Bitcoin to fiat money, you will now discover these things I'm talking about. When you begin to compare Bitcoin to fiat money, which is paper money, you now begin to discover the real benefits of why we need to have Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is scarce, irrespective of the fact that irrespective of the fact that it's volatile anyway, but it is scarce because it has total amount that is 21 million bitcoins in existence. But if you compare that 21 million bitcoin existence you to your currency, the fiat currency you're making use of, you discover that your fiat currency is infinite. But Bitcoin, which is built with mathematics, has a total amount of 21 million, which means that if everybody in this world decides to buy one Bitcoin, man, that means I'm not sure that's going to be possible because we have up to 7 billion people and not up to, I should say, not up to half of the world already knows Bitcoin. So people are still getting to know Bitcoin. And through this course, if you're still new here, I believe you'll get to know Bitcoin and get to study it further after this course. And also, I believe that this course is also going to help you understand what it all means. So here, Bitcoin is scarce because has only 21 million in existence. And I think about 18 million currently in circulation, and the remaining are yet to be mined, but are on the process. So we also have Bitcoin as a medium of exchange. People use Bitcoin to buy stuff in the market these days. You go to a certain shop, you go to a certain place, you see Bitcoin is accepted here. People use Bitcoin to make as to send to pay for things that they are buying. It serves as a medium of exchange. So as I told you guys before, while we were explaining the concept of money, anything that serves as a medium of exchange can be referred to as money. That's why Bitcoin here, which serves as a medium of exchange, is also money. Then Bitcoin is borderless. Bitcoin does not need you to make approvals of anywhere you're going to before you send the transaction. You can stay anywhere you are and send money to anybody anywhere in the world. Yes, it is borderless. It does not need you to send your KYC. It does not need you to pass your details. It does not need you to do some certain things for you to send money anywhere you want to send the money. So Bitcoin is borderless, and that's one of the amazing feature it has. You know, me trying to send money to my friend in UK from Nigeria to UK, I would definitely have to pass through lots of stress of going through a particular central entity, giving them my money. They are going to charge me huge amount of money as fees, you know, to move the money to UK. But you see, Bitcoin is borderless, digital and virtual, in the sense that you can equally send it anywhere you are, anytime you want, as long as you have access to the internet, mobile device, or computer system that you would definitely use to make that transaction be executed. So Bitcoin is open source. Open source refers to the code which is used in building the Bitcoin blockchain. Now you can easily go and gain access to this code and see what it looks like. And also you can also use it to also build your own if you intend to build anything. So, but the open source tells you how clear and open it is. So you'll be able to see the code and what was actually built in this blockchain. So this is mainly for developers. Anybody who's a developer can equally look at the source code of Bitcoin blockchain and see what it looks like. So we also have the fact that Bitcoin is immutable because of the cryptography and because of the number of nodes running the blockchain. Bitcoin has been noted as an immutable system. So now Bitcoin also has irreversible transactions. If I send you one Bitcoin and I can't in any way go in my mobile device and revert that transaction. Once I send it, I have sent it and it's not reversible. Unless the person I sent it to is willing to return it back to me, that's just it. So these are some features of Bitcoin, and it's very, very necessary you take note of them because they are going to help you to understand Bitcoin and every other thing we'll talk about here later. So a brief history of Bitcoin or about Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin was created in 2018 and launched in January 2009 by an anonymous or unknown person or people named Satoshi Nakamoto. I hope you are jotting things down to ensure that you are taking notes of these things I'm mentioning so you don't get to miss out. And you also get to remember everything that I have explained in the call. So Bitcoin was created in 2008 and was launched in January, that is 3rd January 2009 by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, people believe that this pseudonym, the Satoshi Nakamoto is still unknown, but people believe that this pseudonym is from Samsung, Nakamichi, Toshiba, and Motorola. People just felt like, okay, this is actually the four groups that came out to build Bitcoin, things like that, or this is how the name came about. But the name of the person that launched Bitcoin was referred to as Satoshi Nakamoto because that was the name that was displaying on his profile on Bitcoin.org website where he launched the Bitcoin blockchain, or the details about Bitcoin too, and the Bitcoin white paper. So now, aims of Bitcoin, first of all, is to solve the double spending problem. Now, there is this issue that people do experience in terms of finance, although you might not experience that in paper money or in some other aspect, but in the digital sense, there this issue called double spending problem, ability to spend a certain amount of money twice in different places at the same time. Now, this has become an issue which has been affecting several several digital currencies. But at this point, blockchain Bitcoin solved this problem because you cannot spend one single Bitcoin twice at two different locations. It's not possible. So once your transaction is being mined, it's recorded and that's just it. It doesn't go through any other corner to be spent in any other way. So now Bitcoin removes intermediaries. Bitcoin removes intermediaries. Let's assume that we are trying to make a transaction on a blockchain. The moment you send money, you have sent it directly because Bitcoin uses a P2P network, direct to direct network. It does not pass through a bank, it does not pass through any other system, but it only passes through um, the it only passes through the blockchain, which goes directly to the person who is receiving the money. That is how Bitcoin works. So that's one thing you also need to take note of. Now, Bitcoin has um, okay, sorry. Now, Bitcoin has a trustless cash transfer system. Now, you don't need to trust the system for you to send money to anybody anywhere because it's built with codes and it's even makes it much more easier for you to understand. So now this is how a Bitcoin transaction works. Now let's compare this same to the same this traditional banking or using your bank to send money to using Bitcoin to send money. So the first one you hear, you have you trying to send money through your bank to another person's bank. Now, this is the money you are sending to the person's, you are depositing to the bank, from your bank. The money is going to pass through lots and lots of intermediaries. You can have like Visa, you have MasterCard, PayPal, Western Union, Union Pay, and the rest. These are third parties. And in the process of passing through these third parties, there are definitely fees that are incurred for them to allow the sending the transfer of funds from your bank to this through these third parties into the customer's bank or your friend's bank, which you want to send the money. Now, once the money gets into your friend's bank, then the friend will have to go through the bank and collect the money before it gets to his hand. So, this is what a traditional banking looks like. This is called a centralized finance, CFI, centralized finance. Money has to pass through all these intermediaries to get to the person who is the recipient or the respondent. But after or in terms of the cryptocurrency transactions, this is what happens. Money you are sending, it is P2P and it goes directly to the person you are sending it. It does not go through anybody. That is what we meant by that was what we meant by a trustless removes intermediary and has a trustless transfer cash system. So now this is what the blockchain looks like. I just want you to give you this idea. Now, the blockchain itself has these details, and this is where each transaction is being recorded. Um, each block has details of each transaction. Each block has details of each transaction. Each block has details of each transaction and also the details of previous transactions, and they are all connected together. So when you hear the word blockchain, just know that blockchain are ledgers connected together using cryptography. Now you can see this chain that looks like a chain that binds things together that cannot be broken. Refers to the cryptography, and the block is this ledger that has the details of each transaction. And a blockchain is um, a chain that contains these blocks that links transactions together. So that's just basically what blockchain is. So out of the definitions I've given previously, this is the pictorial understanding of what blockchain is all about. You get to understand it. So here it has a hash. It also has the previous hash of the transaction. Now this 000 you see here refers to the fact that this block you see here is a genesis block. So the next one is the second block, which has this hash, and the previous hash, the hash of the previous um, hash of the previous block, and so on and so forth. That's just how the block keep adding every time a transaction is being executed. So now I'm going to talk about the opportunities in the blockchain space, so you get to understand a bit um, further and get to know your way around the space. While in our next class, we'll talk further and explain more better about blockchain cryptocurrencies and how you can get into the space as a beginner. So here we have blockchain development. If you are into coding or you're interested in coding, you can get into the space. There are platforms like DAP University. There are platforms like I can't equally remember, but there are lots of there are lots of YouTube content out there that will teach you blockchain development free of charge. Most times you can equally get I think Simply Learn does a paid course, but you can get most of them free of charge, and that's just how it works. So you also have graphic designing. If you're a graphics or UI UX designer, you can equally get into the blockchain space, become a designer. And there are lots of projects out there that need designers that need their content to be put out there. You can also become a designer. So you can also become a community manager, which is what I also do. That's my profession. So you can become a community manager, manage communities for projects out there. You can become a blockchain engineer, interested in building blockchain mining ecosystem. So the next is the content writing aspect. If you're a writer and you feel like you're good in writing, then you can get into the blockchain space, gain the knowledge on how to write on the blockchain, and also write content for projects out there. So you can become an educator or a tutor. Just the way as I'm doing right now, I'm teaching you and you're watching this video, I'm learning from whatever I'm teaching. You can become an educator or tutor on relating to blockchain. So you can also become a financial market analyst, somebody who is looking at charts, understanding charts, looking at the price movement of Bitcoin up and down. You get to understand. But they will also talk about technical analysis and fundamental analysis on while we move on this course. But for today, we are talking basically about blockchain and how it works. So, secondly, you can become a blockchain consultant. That is if you have a good knowledge of blockchain very well, and you believe you can just create a space for yourself, create an office, and start become a consultant for blockchain projects who are new to the space. So, but this requires that you have well enough experience in this space. So, you can become a media personnel for blockchain projects. You can equally become a media. You can create a blog and start posting news about blockchain. Before you know it, blockchain is the toppest news. So people will want to learn more and gain more knowledge about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and what are happening in the space. So put out your content out there and show people what you're capable of doing if you're interested in blockchain media. Now, we also have art, play to earn, metaverse, music, NFTs, and the rest. So if you are into arts, if you're into gaming, if you're into virtual reality and augmented reality, if you're into music, then you should also come into the space in terms of blockchain related aspect, because there are lots of opportunities left for people. We're also going to be discussing this while on this course, but I think that will be part of the end of the course. But we will be discussing this while we ride on the course, because it's very, very important you get to understand what NFTs, metaverse, play to earn, virtual reality, and the rest main. So the next is that we can become a project management. Now the job in blockchain is unlimited. There are lots of opportunities out there. Social media management, um, and many of them. So you can equally, all you just need to do is acquire basic knowledge of blockchain technology, know what it all refers to, use your skill to get a job, and you are good to go. You can equally build your own stuff and start doing things out there. It does not require you a much. All you need is just a computer, have access to the internet, and understand what blockchain is all about. Blockchain is the future. And for the fact that you might just be hearing it the first time or the second time or the third time, but blockchain remains the future. As you grow, as time goes on, people will continue to build and you continue to see great stuffs that people are working on and you continue to learn from them. As an early adopter, I suggest that you always stay online, watch out, watch more content, join this course as we finish it so we get to understand or grasp the knowledge and build together. So if you have any questions, you can drop it on the comment section. I'm going to answer you, or you ask me on WhatsApp, or you go to the community chats where I which you can see the community link on the description, which you can reach out to. Feel free to contact me or you reach out to me and I'm free to answer your questions. And maybe on our next class, I'll get to answer questions which are asked to me on the live stream. So that's basically all we have for today. And I really appreciate you all that joined the call. We were supposed to have 1 hour, but thank God we didn't waste much of our time. So once you're done, ensure you have write-ups you've made for this course and you're able to understand basically what we have explained. Do well to ask your questions and remain blessed while we shut down the call for tonight. In our next call, we'll be discussing something else different, but something that would help you understand what blockchain is all about and how you can also get into the space as a newbie or a beginner. Thank you so much for watching this video. Ensure you share this video to your friends out there. Connect them to come and watch this video to come and learn. It's free of charge. You're not paying anybody for this. It's free. So you have to ensure that you put in your commitment and seriousness to acquire this knowledge before the whole world gets to know it before you. And it's not so good to mix things just like that. So it's also important you connect with your friends, learn this, and also share with every other person. Remain blessed and have a wonderful moment. So that's all for today, guys. Tomorrow we'll continue 6 9 p.m. same time. Remain blessed and good night.